Hey everybody, it's Joey here. It's a PJ day, and been breaking down a whole bunch of Lego sets so that I can consolidate space. This wave of them has been Halloween related, so I've had a whole bunch of them that I've used every year for Halloween decorations. And the fun thing about it is they never wind up immediately getting taken apart and stored away. It always takes a couple months, sometimes years, to get to it. As you might have heard in one of the other videos I did, where I had a whole bunch of sets that were like missing for a long time because I didn't realize they were in a certain box. And this video is kind of a thought piece that was inspired by Holland and Ballin, Thick and Bricks on Instagram. Set up a Holland and Ballin live stream, and there was a fun discussion through like what he's collected over time and how it's been organized in his Lego room. And I decided to open a discussion here, and let me know in the comments below what you think about everything. For yourself or about me, I don't care. That's fine, either way. But there was a discussion going in the live stream about Lego sets and collecting things versus hoarding. So, am I a hoarder or am I a collector? I believe I'm both. And here's how I define them. A collector is somebody who picks up a series of objects, sometimes grouping them together, usually grouping them together, for a purpose. There is a distinct reason that they are going together. And that reason could be all kinds of things, but it's like, this means something. This is here for some purpose. It could even be a personal, kind of purpose. Like, oh, I remember that set when I was younger, so I'm gonna go find it again, or I still have it because I grew up with it, or whatever the case may be. And there are definitely a lot of things, whether or not Lego related, that I could identify as collecting. There are things that I've found a more distinct purpose with together than each of them apart. And with that, I'll go through the examples in just a bit. But with that, hoarding is not quite the same thing. Hoarding is grouping things together for the sake of having them. That you know that it's available to you, that you proprietarily own it, but you may not actually do anything with it, or may not actually apply it greatly, like even something for collecting could have a distinct purpose behind it. Oh, there was another broken piece. That stinks. A couple of pieces were broken in here, unfortunately, just from over time. I don't know why. It happens. Reddish-brown plates have a hard time. So, hoarding is the sake of having something, but not having a real big use for it. And I think there are some things that, like, you could say you have a use for it, but is it really doing that much? Or, adding that greatly to what you're going for? Who knows? I think it depends on whatever you're going for. But I could definitely see some things being like, nah, you're not collecting, man. Myself included. So I believe that I'm both, because I have both things going on. There are definitely things that I've picked up that I've been searching for with a distinct purpose in mind. That I wanted to use them for a Lego display on a shelf. That I wanted to have the knowledge with all of these different books from a period of time. That these blasters for Nerf are something that I grew up with because of a video game. And trying them out is actually kind of fun. All those kinds of things. And more. There are Lego sets that I've picked up, or that I've collected because I really appreciate the theme for them, or I grew up with it, so it's a bit of nostalgia, that kind of stuff. And then there's hoarding. Do I need all the Nerf blasters I own? No, absolutely not. I don't need. I'd say about half, maybe almost 3/4 of them that I own. A lot of them I've picked up is because I was able to find them on the cheap. It was easier to pick them up in lots where it would be selling like, a whole bunch of blasters for a cheap price, rather than trying to find that individual blaster from somebody sold on its own, and it would be, much more expensive. One Vulcan for $30 or something with belt or whatever, it doesn't sound as good a value as uh, a parent's throwaway lot on Facebook Marketplace or whatever, which is also $30 and has dozens of blasters, whether or not they're new or old. I've definitely gone out of my way for those kinds of lots at times where I've picked up like a whole bunch of them because of one or two blasters I was looking for, and the other ones were kind of nice and they were good to try out and everything. But what are they all doing right now? They're sitting in bins. They're sitting in my garage, just gathering some dust. So that's why I see that I can definitely be a bit of both. That I am collecting because there are certain things I am looking for, that I do have a purpose in mind, that I do like having them for, in a group that normally doesn't show up. But I'm also a hoarder. I definitely have ones just because they were there, they were available for cheap or whatever. That was even in the live stream, just in the live stream discussion, that sometimes you wind up hoarding something because it was a good price, that it was a good value, and it may have not been something you were looking for. And there are plenty of ones for Nerf and Lego that I can attest to. I even recently I had a Lego set that I picked up mostly just to use for one video, and it's a Lego set I already own, but it would have been more time for me to find all of the pieces to build it again from the original parts. So I just bought a used copy of it for cheap just to make the process go faster. I've actually had that done numerous times with Lego, and sometimes for other products. That was just easier to buy another copy of it instead of going to find it in a cluttered mess. I will admit to that. There's also times where I don't even keep track of my collection, whether or not you want to put air quotes around that, because I just haven't come up with a way of it, or I haven't found a website or some app that actually helps with identifying that, and that way I can take it with me on the go. I've definitely gone through Target multiple times and picked up Hot Wheels cars that I already own and didn't know until I brought them home. So, like they are fun to collect, and I do like to group them together, especially like things like Batmobiles and roller coaster cars, or something that's just unusual that catches my eye. But there are definitely times of getting ones that I had no idea I already owned it, or there was no reason for this particular one, like it didn't fit into any of those other categories like the other things did. So yeah, why do I need them all? I have been breaking down a lot of that stuff over time, over the past since about March, like late February into March, and there's still plenty more to go through, whether or not it's Lego, Hot Wheels, Nerf, or any dozens of other things that I would consider collecting. And there are definitely some that I have completely broken down the collection, as we had a little quote-unquote intervention at Brick Fair, Alabama. So I no longer have soda bottles or cans or cups from restaurants as a collectible, because that's all they're doing is just because I feel like the shelf life, you can only go so far with that being like a legit reason, because is it something that I'm maintaining? Not really. It's just sitting up there because there's a space for it, and at that point it almost sounds like hoarding. But I'm sure with some people it works differently, and in some situations it works differently. If you're actually maintaining it, if you're adding other stuff along with it, that they're integrated, that you can tell there's a clear theme going on, maybe. So, judge me if you will in the comments below. Thanks for watching this little thought piece. Got another Lego set down, and I'll talk to you later.